Today we're making a portabello mushroom pasta with some pecorino, lemon juice and garlic. And this dish clocks in at 710 calories, 34 grams of proteins, 96 grams of carbs and 22 grams of fat. Today we're again gonna make our own pasta. This is for 2 portions, so we're gonna use 200 grams of flour. And to this we're going to use eggs that weigh 130 grams, and liquid wise this was actually kind of perfect, so if you aim for 130 that will be fine. And as always I add some salt to my pasta dough, but if your dough gets too wet just add a little bit of flour, or if it's too dry just rinse your hands and then continue working the pasta dough. Just rinsing your hands in water is usually enough. And we're just gonna stir in our eggs with a fork, and then we're gonna use a bench scraper, and finally we're gonna start kneading this. And then we're going to knead this until we have a nice and smooth dough. And we want to keep kneading until it bounces back when we push it, around 10 minutes I would say. And then I like to flatten it out a bit because it's much easier than when you run it through your pasta machine. And then we're going to put this in plastic wrap and leave it for half an hour. If you want to leave it for longer, that's fine. You can put it in your fridge and leave it for a day, that's fine too. Just take it out and make sure that it comes to room temp before you run it through your pasta machine. And for our portabello mushrooms we want to remove the base for all of them, and then we're going to take a spoon and just scrape out the membranes. And also we should clean our mushroom if there's any dirt or anything, just to remove that. And once we've done that we can just cut them up to the preferred size. I like to go for quarters and then just chop them to roughly 1 centimeter thick slices. And to this we're also gonna need 3 cloves of garlic. So we're just gonna peel those and then we're gonna crush them in our pan later. And as you can see by how the oil is acting, our pan is really hot, which is nice. And once our pan is really hot, we're just gonna add our mushrooms, and that's gonna drop the temperature directly. And then what I like to do is actually leave everything for quite a long time, so you actually get some browning on everything. If you toss it and turn it, the heat of the pan will be reduced quite a lot. So if you just leave it for a while you will get much better browning. And I also like to salt everything. And since we're using pecorino as well, we're going to need 40 grams of pecorino. And once we've rolled out our pasta dough in our pasta machine, we are just simply gonna cut this into tagliatelle. And here you can decide how long you want them. I'm just gonna cut them up with a knife. If you cut them now they're gonna be super long, but I'm gonna be a bit lazy and just cut that in half and then start slicing them up to the size I want. And as you can see here, our portabello mushrooms are pretty much done, meaning that we can lower the temperature a bit. I'm a bit lazy, so they're not gonna be long if you do this, but I think for this dish that's fine. So I'm just gonna cut them, but if you want longer pasta, think about how you're cutting it. And we want to make sure we don't leave them folded, because if we do they're gonna stick together and it's gonna be horrible after a while to get them to separate. Our mushrooms are basically done frying, so we're gonna use 1 deciliter of white wine just to deglaze our pan. And then we're gonna reduce that while our pasta is boiling. So as always we're gonna salt our pasta water quite heavy, and then we're going to add some water to our pan. And while our pasta is boiling I like to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And some salt and pepper, of course, if needed. And once our pasta has been boiling for 2 to 3 minutes. We're just gonna throw that in, and we want to have some water still in this because we're gonna use the pasta water to create a sauce with our pecorino. So a little bit of water left in the pan, and then basically we're gonna remove it from the heat, let it sit for a minute roughly. And because if we throw in our cheese directly, it's gonna be too hot. So we just want to remove it and let it cool down a little bit, and then we can just stir in our cheese. And here you can also check seasoning to see if everything's at the level you want. The pecorino is gonna add some salt, of course, but you can check it now or check it later. And then just add our pecorino and stir that in, and we have a nice Portabello mushroom pasta dish. You can stir in the cheese or you can fold it in, it depends on what you like to do. Both of everything works. And then just divide into 2 portions, and that's it. As always, thanks for watching, and if you tried, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.